drywall, plumbing, fixing boards, replacing stuff. I've done residing, I've done all that stuff, but not to the point where I'm willing, to charge people and say, hey, I'll do it professionally, because I can't.
Right.
I probably could after a couple more YouTube videos. But that's what it is. You learn by watching it and by asking and by seeking. And nowadays they have YouTube videos that teach you everything you want. And so as far as a young person, thinking about whether should they go to college or should they, join, a labor union and workforce and all that good stuff, you have the rest of your life to work. You're going to work, for so long. And so you have to really think about how are you going to get the things in your life that you want, by working, and where are you going to be at, and what are maybe your next step is going to be for less money, and, you're not going to get it, but it will get you to the next place that you need to be at. And so always thinking a couple steps ahead. And the best of some of the more advice, I'll just keep dropping these gold nuggets for everybody, is that my cousin, when I went to visit him in Florida for my birthday, which I do every year for a while, he has me write down 10 goals for my next birthday, the next time I see him. And it was amazing, because just the power of writing those goals down, by the time I went there the next year, I got, 7 out of those 10 goals. And so what he did is he said, hey, write down 10 goals that you want by the end of next year. Now, look at those 10 goals and say, okay, which one of these goals, or which one of a few of these goals, if you focus on, would also get you some of those other ones. So I realized by just focusing on one of my goals, it got me 7 of my other ones. And so I was really excited and happy by the next year was like, get my own place, get a new car, have a girlfriend, lose a certain amount of weight, read a certain amount of books, stuff like that, right? But the one that was going to get me all of them was run a successful company. It was going to, get me a girlfriend because I had lots of money and stuff like that. But my own place, new car, all these wonderful things, because I worked hard and ran a successful company, got me those other things. So I said, okay, now that I found the one goal that will get me my others, now I have to write down everything possible to get that goal, and then just do one of those things a day to get to that point. And so I really didn't feel like I did much that year. You don't, but just the power of writing it down, what your 10 goals are. So you write them down every single day, and it's kind of fun, and people ask you, just have your list. You pull out your list and say, these are my 10 goals, right? And just by doing that, you accomplish them somehow, because by the end of the year, I had 7 of my 10 goals. And so then I said, write down your new list. And so I wrote down my list of 10 goals.
What was the 3 goals that you didn't get?
My 3 goals that I didn't get was I didn't make a certain amount of money. Like I wanted to do like $150,000, and I didn't get to that one. And it was 50 projects, and I did like 42. So it was like, and then I didn't have a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend once here, but not at the time, whatever, something like that, that one. But those, it was just like, wow, I got 7 out of the 10. It wasn't so much that I didn't get those 3, and that's another thing. I used to be depressed, and depression is real. Like people have suicidal thoughts and all that thing, because people are focusing on the bad. And so when someone asks me, what are 3 things that are bad, bad going on, real quick, have a crappy car, this no job, no money. It was real quick. I could come up with those things. But if somebody asked me, what are 3 things that you're doing good in your life? I had to sit there and think about it. So that whole philosophy of focusing on what you're doing good rather than what you're doing bad will change your life, because you're focusing on what you're doing good, you feel good, rather than focusing on what you're doing bad, that you're just bringing more bad. And so like the law of attraction, the secret, is super powerful.
How long have you been thinking like this? Like, when did this all change? How long ago?
Well, I
Or
think
was it progression.
I think I've been thinking like this my whole life. Like I've had, my parents are together and, provided the most blessed life I could ever ask for. I have family, I have friends. I've been in love, I've, had money, I'm ready to go. If I was to go, I'd be happy. But, I want a lot more things in my life. But from the moment I was like born and from I can remember, I always knew that I was going to be successful. And then it took me not too long ago to figure out that success is just happiness. And so, how you choose to be happy. That's what I went in school and learned, is that, college is great. You have a fun experience, and, you learn and grow and find more about who you are and what makes you happy and things like that. So it's a great experience that I would never, want to take back. But as far as like the education and how that helps you progress in life to make more money, you can skip that. They're going to want you to have experience. You're going to have your college degree, but if you don't have an experience, you don't have a job. And then that's why, 70% of the people who graduate are working in fields other than what they went to school for. So,
Right.
and then you're just out a lot of money and stuff like that. But I've been thinking like I was going to be successful since I was little. Like I just always knew I was going to be success. I didn't know what that meant, but I just was like, I am success, like, and just kind of make it up. And I'm a product of all my friends, all my family, everything around me. I try to just take in the good. I only take in the good. I never see the bad. I think there's good in everybody. And I just try to learn from everybody and their their mistakes so that it can make me better, because everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And the whole goal is just competing with yourself, to try to be the best person you could be.
Right.
So what actually made you go to college? Was that just like a life goal that you had, your parents, or?
Yeah, I mean, it probably came down from from my parents. Just that whole stigma, of going to college, getting the degree, and then you're successful. But that's not what it's like for our generation. That's the generation before us. That's my parents' generation. It used to be you go to school, you get your degree, you get your job, you're set. Now it's not like that at all. I mean, the statistics are crazy. Like I said, that people go to school and aren't working for what they go to school and for, So I went to school because I wanted to own my own restaurant. That was my dream. I've worked at 13 different restaurants. I've been working in restaurants my whole life. That's where I learned that hospitality of, treating people, trying to give people, I learned these words that, if you say, hey, is everything good? They'll say, yeah. If you say everything is great, they'll say, yeah. So you just trick people into thinking they're having a great time. Everything is excellent. Everything is amazing. You don't use these words like good, average, okay. I'm trying to excite people. I want things to be the best. I want to be the best. I want my painting company to be the best in Washington. And it's just kind of figuring out what it is that you want to do, and then just going all in. And it's okay to change. I learned from my mom. She's had a whole bunch of different careers. And you asked me, are any of my parents business owners? My mom she's a reflexologist. She works for herself. She's a business owner now. She wasn't when I was growing up, but she switched industries a lot. She was a real estate agent. She was a counselor. She worked as a bartender. She worked in restaurants and things like that. And so I just knew that it was possible to always switch it up. You didn't have to stay with one thing. You can, you can always change it and you'll be okay. My dad, both of his parents were teachers. And so it was like inevitable for him to not become a teacher. So he became a teacher and he switched it. But, throughout my life, I've just had all the opportunity from them, that they've blessed me with, but just also the mindset that they blessed me with too. Just like by seeing them do anything that they want and provide anything for me, I just knew that, I could do the same.
It's possible.
Yeah.
You're not closed off to one option or another. Like you said, you went to college because you thought you were going to own your own restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And then you ended up going into painting.
Well, I'm still going to own my own restaurant, but I wanted to learn more about that. Just the same way I wanted to seek out other people in the painting industry who were successful, I wanted to learn about hospitality. You need a hospitality business management to go into, hospitality business, into restaurant management.
Right.
So that's what I went to go to school for. And yeah, I mean, I still learn those things. I still want to do that. But right now, there's a tremendous opportunity in painting. I didn't think I was going to be a painter. I don't know if you necessarily know what you're going to want to do, but that's awesome if you do. But just be open to other opportunities and other ideas, and try to just whatever makes you happy, do that.
Well, when you're growing up as a kid, I wanted to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
Not one of my friends wanted to be a painter.
Yeah.
Astronaut.
Yeah, astronaut or
And that's what's
police officer.
Also too, that question is so, amazing. And it's like, you never stop, trying to do that, or at least live that experience. Like most people, I wanted to be an NBA athlete, basketball player, something like that. I might not be able to do that, but, maybe I can go and pay a certain amount of money to get to live that experience, so you should try to do that. But it's, something that I asked my mom that question, what did you want to be when you grew up? And she said, I wanted to be normal. And I was like, how sad, because she ran away when she was 13. So all my family ran away when they were young. No one had a normal, upbringing. And so that also helped to shape my life, that she has a very positive outlook on life, and so does my other family members, even though they had a terrible nightmare, crazy upbringing. But everything is okay. That just taught me that bad things happen in your life, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of the story. You know, you make mistakes, but you're not defined by your mistakes. So just know that tomorrow's brand new. You know, you can start all over tomorrow. I start a new company tomorrow. You know, if everything were to go bad, just have the fight in you, I guess, and the understanding to just never give up.
Well, I think that's an invaluable lesson that you learned from your parents. Like, they had a rough upbringing, completely different than what you've had, sounds from it. And they were able to be successful, and your mom changed a bunch of jobs and changed careers and was able to be successful throughout her life, and your father were able to give you the life that, you know, any kid would ever dream of, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been doing this painting thing? How many years?
5. This is my fifth year, but it's just really just fifth summer, so it really comes down. I've only been painting for like a year or two, but 5 years total.
So your business you've had it for 5 years.
My
then.
first business, which was Olaya Painting, was opened in 2013. So this is the first year, 2017, that is inside the lines now. Keep dropping that. Just in case.
Absolutely. Plug your stuff, man. So what made you decide to change it to inside lines? Oh, yeah, that was because it was just came off the tongue better. You were trying to find something.
I'm inside the lines, you know, crispy lines. That's
Yep.
why I want people to get that image. It makes more sense to
What
me.
you tell your kids in school. You know, hey,
Stay inside the lines.
draw inside the lines, bud.
Yeah, I tell my
Color in
5-year-old
there.
that all the time when he's drawing in his coloring book, you know. No, it's perfect reference for painting. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. But I wonder why you tell them to, you know, keep it in the lines instead of drawing outside them. Does that create more detail? Just thinking outside the
Well,
box.
it's like you know, you have those coloring books, and it shows you like a dinosaur, and it's got the lines. And so you don't want them to color the outside of the dinosaur green, too, when the sky is supposed to be blue,
Yeah,
right? So stay inside the
absolutely.
lines.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
that's why I named it that.
So when I was doing research for this show, I was I wasn't thinking that I was going to get the statistics that I was looking at for small businesses. I was expecting it to be all doom and gloom. Like, we've all heard the stories about people, you know, have failing small businesses. But man, I got to tell you, the statistics are actually really good. Small businesses account for 99.7% of all business in the U.S. That's a business with 500 employees or less. Wow. Between 2009 and 2013, 60% of the jobs created were from small business. 60%.
That's incredible, because when you think about it, you think about all these big corporations like Microsoft and Boeing are employing all the people, but wow, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Right, and so people like to say, well, small businesses fail, you know, easily. The actual statistics are 2/3 of small businesses survive 2 years in business. Half of all businesses will survive 5 years, and 1/3 will survive 10 years.
I mean, that sounds about right, but I would think of it to be worse than that.
Well, we're always told like 60% of all small businesses fail within a year, but that's actually 3-year statistic.
It's not a bad
It's looking
stat,
up,
dude. Yeah, that's 2 out of 3. You know, you're gonna make it past 3 years.
Right.
You know, that's decent.
I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this now.
I know we might have to quit this. We might have to quit this podcast and actually start a real job.
Well, it sounds a real
Get paid
business.
for something.
I mean, it sounds like it all depends on your attitude that you take towards it, and the amount of effort that you put into it. I mean, it sounds like you put a ton of effort into this. You've thought about what you were going to do. You had a plan. Like you said, you've been writing down your 10 goals. You've asked people that were successful in this. And I mean, clearly to me, like, I think that's why you're sitting here with us today. I mean, that's why you're still in business 5 years later. If you wouldn't have done those things, like, who knows?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely, you know, I try to learn as much as I can and just keep on progressing. Just it's not over.
Because you could be the best. You could be the best at hospitality in the entire world, but when your paint job looks fucked up, or you're not painting inside the lines, you know, you're not going to get business anymore. People aren't going to refer you. You're going to get bad reviews on Yelp or whatever.
But that's also another, you know, blessing is that, you know, with painting, I paint for somebody maybe one time and it's going to last them, you know, 10, 20 years. I'm never going to paint for them ever again. So if something were to go bad, it's okay because I have to get a new customer anyway. You know,
Right.
I'm not focused on just the one. I'm excited about the next one. And I'm waiting on to the, you know, just having a belief that when I would knock on doors, I'd get 100 doors slammed in my face, but it would just take one. You know, I can knock on 100 doors, and it would take me like 5 hours to do that. A long time, maybe maybe more hours to do that. But if I got one, that would be 5 to 10,000